Some Formula One tracks disappear after just a few seasons. Monaco has survived for almost a century, and somehow it's still one of the most controversial races on the calendar. Every single year, the same argument comes back. Some fans call Monaco the soul of Formula One. Others think it should have disappeared years ago. So, who's actually right? Because if you look at the circuit today, the criticism makes perfect sense. The roads are unbelievably narrow. There's almost no room for mistakes. And modern Formula One cars have become absolutely massive. At times, it feels less like a race and more like trying to squeeze a limousine through someone's hallway. Yeah, not exactly ideal. Overtaking? Forget about it. On most Sundays, drivers spend lap after lap staring at the gearbox of the car in front. Not exactly the action people expect from the fastest sport on earth. So why does Formula One keep coming back? Why protect a circuit that so many fans call outdated? Here's the strange part. Despite all the criticism, Monaco keeps producing moments that people never forget. Moments that become part of Formula One history. And one race in particular was so unbelievably chaotic that by the time it ended, almost nobody was left. But that's only half the story. But here's the thing. People love saying Monaco is always boring. History says otherwise, because in 1996, Monaco turned into complete madness. Rain poured down before the race. The streets became as slippery as ice, and almost immediately, everything started falling apart. Cars crashed into the barriers. Championship contenders disappeared one after another. Even the pole sitter didn't survive the opening lap. Not exactly the start anyone had planned, but somehow it only got worse. Every few laps, another driver was out. Engines failed. Cars spun into the walls. Strategies became completely useless. The race wasn't being won anymore. It was simply surviving. Then something happened. That still sounds unbelievable today. Out of 21 cars that started the race, only 3 reached the finish line. 3, not 13, not 7, just 3. The winner, Olivier Panis, a driver almost nobody expected to stand on the top step that weekend. And that's exactly why Formula One fans still talk about this race nearly 30 years later. The crazy part? Nobody planned this. Nobody scripted it. It was simply Monaco, mixed with a little rain and a lot of chaos. Ever since then, fans secretly hope for rain every single Monaco weekend. Because sunshine usually gives you a procession. Rain gives you a movie. But that creates another question. If Monaco needs bad weather to become unforgettable, why is Formula One still desperate to keep it on the calendar? Because the real reason has almost nothing to do with the racing itself. At this point, you're probably thinking, easy, it's all about the money. And honestly, that's what most people believe. But here's the surprising part. They're wrong. Money matters in Formula One. Of course it does. But money isn't the reason Monaco survived. In fact, compared to many modern Grand Prix, Monaco has historically paid Formula One far less than you'd expect. So if this were purely a business decision, Monaco would have disappeared years ago. Because Monaco isn't just another race anymore. It's a brand. Think about it. Ask someone who has never watched Formula One to name a famous race. There's a good chance they'll say Monaco. Not because they know the championship, not because they know the drivers, but because Monaco became something much bigger than motorsport. It's the race you've seen in movies, luxury commercials, documentaries, video games. Even people who couldn't name 5 Formula One drivers know what Monaco is. That's incredibly rare. Only a handful of sporting events reach that level of recognition. The Monaco Grand Prix isn't just part of Formula One. In many ways, it represents Formula One, and that's exactly why replacing it isn't as simple as building a faster circuit somewhere else. You can build wider tracks, you can create better overtaking, you can even produce more exciting races, but you can't manufacture nearly 100 years of history. That's where Monaco becomes almost impossible to replace. Still, that doesn't mean everyone loves it. Every season, the debate starts all over again. Fans complain, experts argue, social media explodes. Some say Monaco belongs in a museum. Others believe Formula One would lose part of its identity without it. And strangely enough, the people with the strongest opinions aren't sitting on the internet. They're sitting behind the steering wheel because the drivers see Monaco very differently. And this is where the story takes an unexpected turn, because the people risking everything are usually the first to defend Monaco. Ask almost any Formula One driver about their favorite circuit, and Monaco almost always makes the list. Not because Sunday's race is always spectacular, but because Saturday might be the hardest challenge in all of motorsport. At Monaco, qualifying isn't just important, it can decide the entire weekend. On most Formula One circuits, a bad qualifying session isn't the end of the world. You can recover, you can overtake, you can gamble on strategy. In Monaco, good luck. Passing another car here is about as easy as trying to park a cruise ship in a swimming pool. There's simply no space. That means every qualifying lap becomes a high-speed balancing act. One tiny mistake, one wheel brushing the barrier, one missed braking point, and your lap is over. That's why Monaco qualifying is often described as the ultimate test of precision. Not bravery, not raw speed, precision. Drivers attack the circuit knowing there's almost zero room for error. They're threading a 1,000 horsepower machine through streets that were never designed for racing at over 170 miles per hour, and somehow they make it look effortless until they don't. Because Monaco has a way of reminding even the greatest drivers that perfection only lasts until the next corner. That's exactly why some of the most legendary qualifying laps in Formula One history happened here. Ayrton Senna's performances in Monaco are still talked about today, not because they're old, but because many people believe they represent the closest thing to a perfect lap. Even decades later, drivers, engineers, and fans still study those laps, frame by frame, and Senna isn't the only one. From Schumacher to Hamilton to Verstappen, every generation of champions has tried to master these streets. Some succeeded. Others discovered just how unforgiving Monaco can be. Because this circuit doesn't care how many championships you've won. The barriers don't move, the walls don't forgive, and Monaco doesn't hand out second chances. Then there are the moments that spark endless debate. A yellow flag at exactly the wrong time, traffic ruining a perfect lap, a mysterious incident during qualifying. Every few years, someone leaves Monaco convinced another driver ruined their weekend on purpose. Whether that's actually true or just the pressure talking depends on who you ask. And that's part of Monaco's magic. People don't stop talking about it when the checkered flag falls. The debates continue for weeks. The replays get watched millions of times. Every tiny detail gets analyzed. But even after all of that, there's still one question left unanswered. If Monaco is so difficult, so controversial, and so unique, why is it far more than just another Formula One race? Because the real answer isn't hidden on the track. It's hidden in what Monaco represents to the entire world. And that's the answer. Monaco isn't still on the Formula One calendar because it's the most exciting race. It's there because it has become something much bigger than racing. Think about it. When Formula One wants to show the world its most iconic event, it shows Monaco, the harbor, the tunnel, the yachts, the streets that every driver dreams of conquering. No modern circuit can recreate nearly a century of history. You can build wider tracks, you can create more overtaking, you can design faster corners. But you can't manufacture tradition. That's why Monaco still matters. It's not just another Grand Prix, it's one of the symbols of Formula One itself. And maybe that's exactly why the debate never ends. Every year, fans ask the same question. Does Monaco still deserve its place? Some believe it's outdated. Others believe Formula One would lose part of its identity without it. Ironically, that endless debate is exactly what keeps Monaco relevant, because people never stop talking about it. Not before the race, not during the race, and definitely not after it ends. Maybe that's Monaco's greatest victory, not producing the best racing every Sunday, but becoming unforgettable. At the beginning of this video, we asked why Formula One refuses to let Monaco go. Now you know, it's not because Monaco is perfect, it's because some places become bigger than sport itself. And as long as Formula One values its own history, Monaco will always have a place on the calendar.